All right, guys, just moments before we started recording, I had my first piece of candy corn of the season. It's a good feeling. You know, it's the little things right now.
Dude, I gotta say, I've had candy corn. I've had my Count Chocula already. I've had the Witch's Brew Kit Kats that taste like Rice Krispie treats. Highly recommend them. I've had the Vampires Hershey Kisses, which taste like cherry cordials, so stay away if you don't like those, which is most people. And I've had the Franken Cups, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
All I got was diabetes.
Yep. I feel like I can see through time right now.
I can't find any Halloween candy.
Oh, you got to hit up Target, sir. That's the place to go.
Okay. Dude, the lines are insane. Always.
Yeah, I've got one that I can stop in on the way to work, and it's saved my life.
I miss California and the long lines.
That's a good place to start the theme right there, actually, after that mindset. Or after this one, either way.
I'm behind on my Halloween treats. Candy corn is like the first fall themed item I have had. I'm just eating Rice Krispies and with almond milk, and it's sad.
It's straight up bitch status, Zach. You need to get some chocula in you, sir.
All right, everybody, welcome to another miserable podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. The podcast that explores the pumpkin-scented intersection of horror and pop culture. There may be a voice on here that you do not recognize today. That is because we have our very first guest.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. What?
He is an absolutely incredible artist. You might have seen some of his work on SpongeBob, the upcoming Animaniacs revival. Mr. Kevin Cannarile.
It's close enough.
Thank you.
It's close enough.
I hope I said that right.
Not really.
It's close.
How do you say your last name?
It's Cannarile.
Cannarile.
So
okay.
it's literally just almost there.
He made you sound like a movie convention in France, actually.
I feel like when we introduce the title of the podcast from now on, as soon as you say another miserable podcast, I just have this urge to be like, oh. It goes with the title or something.
Why did I sign up for this show?
Oh God, not again.
Yeah, if you've ever visited our Twitter page, which you should, please follow us, twitter.com/MPOSofficial. Kevin drew the banner for us, the wonderful, wonderful banner that is there right now. You can see his little signature in the corner, so thank you again for that, Kevin.
Beautiful
Yeah,
work.
no problem. I go there and I look at it, and it's been like a couple years now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you see, like, because I've been, drawing and stuff since then, I'm just like,
We need to get him to do a new one, is what he's saying.
Yeah, it's always like, oh.
Before I get to why Kevin is joining us today, besides the fact that he is awesome, let me introduce our my other co-hosts. As always, Professor Casey, Chris Pistol. How's it going, guys?
Good. I'm working on the professor thing.
Yeah.
It takes a couple of years,
Professor Pistol?
Mm-hmm. One day.
No, and then no one calls
Dr.
you
Pistol, maybe?
Except the Grubhub people are the only ones that call me it because my Grubhub name is Professor Casey, and they're like, food for Professor, and I'm like, fucking right.
I am the professor. And I will take my grub.
So what we're doing today, a few weeks back, as you know, we like to take requests from all our lovely listeners out there, and you guys have sent some interesting...
correction. You like to take requests from our listeners.
I love to interact with you guys. I love to cover things that you'd like us to see, films that we might not have heard of yet or gotten to yet. So we take requests from everybody. And our good buddy Kevin here sent us in a request a few months ago. We finally got to it a few weeks ago. That is Charles Band's The Creep. So we talked about that on our Creeps at the Diner episode. And Yeah, that was a movie.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you,
Dick.
Charles Band. What would we do without Charles Band in our lives? I mean,
We're gonna get a lot of Charles Band today too. I have. A
Yeah,
feeling.
you know,
Yeah.
Phil Fondacaro, he kept that boat afloat as long as he could in that movie. It was But I gotta say, Kevin, you have redeemed yourself because you have brought to us a double feature, and these are some very fun movies. I very much enjoyed them. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us about these movies. Go for it, man.
I work in animation and stuff, and I pretty much will always try and sneak references to either of these two movies in everything I work on. Shimmer and Shine was a bit harder to do that with.
I don't know. That should
But,
be pretty dark.
Yeah, they destroyed the coral reef in one episode, so same setup as Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Every
I mean,
episode.
who hasn't?
You are a lifelong horror fan, right, Kevin?
Oh yeah. No, I'm sitting right next to a life-size gremlin puppet in my
I
office.
do see it. It's tremendous.
I have the nightmare soldier from American Werewolf in London stuck up on the wall there, and Big Trouble in Little China. All sorts of horror stuff around my little animation office.
So if your listeners are doubting this man's horror cred, please do not.
No. Plus, Kevin and I met working in the same year-round Halloween store, so that should get us enough cred right
Yes,
there.
That is true. It's a great story.
Yeah, these two movies, TerrorVision and Bad Channels, are like two of my go-to feel-good films. So I don't know what that says about me, considering TerrorVision.
I think it says a lot.
It says good. It says good things, Kevin. It says
Yeah.
good things. They are both Full Moon production pictures, while TerrorVision is an Empire International picture before, like, precursor to Full Moon.
I gotta say, I prefer Empire to Full Moon.
Yeah.
I feel like they have a little higher production value on some of those.
That's for sure.
I think I prefer like early Full Moon when it was still in that transitional kind of period, because that's when all like subspecies and all that shit was coming out.
And those
and
movies
stuff.
rule.
And like they were knocking it out of the park early on, but then like I don't know what happened.
Does anybody remember Dragon World? That was the only Full Moon movie I like saw as a kid. For some reason,
man.
that just happened to be in my video store, so I saw that a couple times.
God,
Yeah.
the first Full Moon movie I saw was probably no, it would have been an Empire movie. It would have been like Reanimator.
Oh shit, they
or
did
something.
Magic Island too.
And they did From Beyond.
Oh, dude,
and
I
all
saw
that.
Magic Island. Holy shit.
They used to play that shit on the Disney Channel.
Oh god, Magic Island, that movie. Wow.
And the one with the kid that travels through time and his watch always stops.
Josh Kirby?
Yes.
Oh
Full Moon?
shit!
Oh,
Yes.
holy crap.
I didn't know that was Full Moon.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, man.
What?
I watched those all the time when I was a kid.
I'm pretty sure they were on Full Moon streaming.
Wow, Josh Kirby.
I gotta say though, Dragon World, not like looking back on it, not the greatest film, but probably
no.
my second favorite movie. Dragon.
Okay, so check this
Ever.
out. It was Full Moon for Josh Kirby, but it was called Moonbeam, and it was their family entertainment.
Oh, I remember looking this up, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely saw more Moonbeam movies, and I think I used to get the two mixed up.
same.
Like, I thought they were the same company, because,
and they were.
they did the Prehysteria movies, Beanstalk.
Totally
the
makes
Pet Shop
sense
movie.
that this was, yeah.
I saw a lot of those
Prehysteria
movies.
is a masterpiece. It's no Tammy and the T-Rex, but what is?
What
I
about
actually liked
Prehysteria 3?
Prehysteria 2. There was a 3?
Yeah, that's the one with the golf course, right?
Oh, I did not see that one.
Where they
I remember
try
part
and-
2.
I think you're right, Kev. I think that is the one with the golf course. I tend to defer to Kevin on anything Full Moon related, even though I'm the one that it warms my heart to know that TerrorVision is one of your go-to feel-good movies. Since I'm the one who's like, this is the most Kevin movie I've ever seen. You will love this. You need to watch it.
Dude, we moved into a new apartment, and I got to we got to paint the walls and kind of redecorate and stuff. And our apartment is inspired by TerrorVision.
Oh, that is.
So you have S&M
Yeah.
paintings on the wall?
Yeah,
So
lots
your
of
apartment's
S&M
like a
paintings.
sex palace, is what you're telling me?
We actually, my girlfriend painted she did some replicas of paintings from the Love Witch that we have hanging on the wall. So we
Okay,
got
cool.
like a bunch of hidden boobs in the apartment.
That's nice.
We're like, our apartment's like the naughty version of Disneyland.
Oh,
She did,
my God.
because she works in like stop motion and practical effects stuff and all that. And she did for charity a Game of Thrones chair that was just boobs. And one day I was looking at this little like cocoa tin, and I opened it up, and there's a shit ton of nipple molds. I was like, "What the hell is this?" So we
You
got a
live with
bunch
Ed
of
Gein.
yeah, we got a bunch of like little hidden stuff all throughout the apartment. So
It's like
yeah,
that.
kinda.
It's like that coochie mold episode of Workaholics.
Oh.
Oh, no.
I'm just mad I don't have a giant booby Game of Thrones chair to sit on.
Dude,
Yeah.
if you stood up and it turned out that's what you've been sitting in this whole time, I would have lost my mind.
Let's go into TerrorVision first,
Yeah.
because I feel like this is the one I saw. I could be biased because I saw TerrorVision several years ago, and I love it in that way that I think I'm supposed to.
Same.
I had not heard of Bad Channels, so I didn't really love it as much. But TerrorVision is an older movie, so it's older than Bad Channels, so I feel like it has a little bit more production value put into it.
Unfortunately, hard
Most of
to
it going
find.
towards the monster.
Chris, you have the Blu-ray, which is now out of print.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find. Like, this used to be on Amazon Prime and Shudder, I think. I used to be able to watch this a lot of places.
It's only like a double pack with like the video dead, right?
Yeah, the video dead.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little compilation there. So TerrorVision and Bad Channels are both directed by Ted and Nicolau. He also directed The Dungeon Master, which Casey talked about a little bit on our
love
horror
that
anthology
movie.
episode.
I wish that the 2-pack was Dungeon Master and TerrorVision so I could get both of them at once on
That'd be
Blu-ray
cool.
like that.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Dungeon Master is out and coupled with something else. I just don't remember what else.
So let's get into the cast of this film is pretty TerrorVision is pretty fantastic. You have Diane Franklin from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, among a bunch of other things. Mr. John Grease, who's probably my favorite part of this film, who plays Odie, and then you have Garrett Graham, who was Beef in Phantom of the Paradise. I know Kevin, you were a big fan of that movie.
Holy shit!
Well,
Yeah.
he's also, I found out
Holy
the other
shit.
day. Do you guys remember the cartoon The Critic?
Yes,
Oh,
of course.
absolutely.
He's Jay Sherman's dad. In that.
Oh,
shit.
really?
Yeah, he does the voice for him. I was like, holy shit! I couldn't believe
Well,
it.
he plays
I can't
Stanley
believe I did not
Putterman.
recognize Beef. Oh my god. Yeah, the dad has like one mode in this movie, and that is to like cock his eyebrow and wobble his head at everything he sees.
It's incredible.
Can we talk about how confusing the tone and audience of this movie is before we start?
Let's like explain what the setup is for people that don't know. So the movie opens on planet Pluton, like this garbage disposal unit where they get rid of mutant creatures. There's this big giant blob who the special effects artist that created this monster, Casey, you just tweeted about him the other day.
Yeah, John Carl Buchler, also known for some great work in the Friday the 13th series.
This monster is so hard to it looks like someone like threw up on the ground and like that kind of looks like a monster, and then
It looks okay. I would say
in
it
the best
looks
way
like
possible.
it looks like something Screaming Mad George should have done, and is probably pissed that he wasn't the guy that did it. Like that's like
It's really cool looking. It's it's gnarly, but it looks great.
It reminds me of. Does it remind you of Society at all? Am I the only one?
Yes,
a little bit, yeah.
this movie reminds me a lot of Society in many ways, which we'll get to.
Especially since it feels like lube is like covering everyone at some point.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
all over the place. Like I just get like a vibe of lube coming from this movie.
I hate Ultra Slime. I hate it.
They just use vats of KY jelly, I guess.
Okay,
for, like,
that's better than
everything. It
Ultra
was just
Slime.
straight up. But the monster always made me think of Freaked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
This film reminded me a bit of Freak too.
Which we do have an episode about in our archives.
Yeah, recent
the
episode. Yeah.
request episode.
So this monster, which we later find out is called a hungry beast, is like beamed into space. They like convert him into energy, and so he like pings across like different planets and meteors, and he ends up inside this newly installed satellite dish, which the Putterman family here on planet Earth in whatever city they're in is installing a new satellite dish. This film is like a really hyper neon exaggerated 80s postcard. Like every 80s stereotype you could think of is just jammed into this family, and it's pretty great. So Garrett Graham plays Stanley Putterman, the dad. The mom is played by Mary Wonarov, Raquel Putterman, and they are swingers. And their house is like a sex dungeon, basically.
But they don't reference
It's a great
it
place to
until
raise children.
halfway through the movie, so you're like, am I seeing what I think I'm
Yeah,
seeing?
like the house is like it's slowly like it's introduced like maybe 30 minutes to the film that they're swingers, but you see like naked pictures. They have Greek statues all over this house. There's like a woman with like water shooting out of her nipples, like right in like front of the.
Yeah, they have a lactating Venus de Milo fountain.
Do you have that statue in your
amazing.
apartment, Kevin?
Okay, so no, I legit want that statue.
Just imagine like the mansion from the WAP music video, and then just like dim the lights down really low.
And this is all a set, as far as I know, because the backyard is definitely a set. Like you can
It's,
see the fake sky.
The whole
yeah,
thing, I think, was filmed in Dilo De Laurentiis' old studio in Italy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the other entertaining characters in this is Grandpa Putterman, who's played by Burt Remsen. He's a war vet. He's become a survivalist. He sells lizard tail jerky.
Which is genius, okay?
It is.
It's a renewing food source. I mean, come on. Why hasn't anyone thought of this?
Yeah, like right now that would probably take off. In lockdown.
Yeah, and we love Grandpa, even though he's got a rebel flag secretly hiding in his basement.
At least it's not on his truck or something.
He's
so,
based on an actual person, I guess, from California that was a street performer, like Commander or Colonel Hershey Bar or something like that.
Yeah, who did wear those little jets all over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those jets were ridiculous.
Yeah, so it was like a Venice Beach kind of dude, I think.
Yeah, it's the most Californian movie ever made, I would think.
Yeah. And of course, we have Sherman Putterman, the kind of impressionable, like 10-year-old kid who takes after the grandfather, of course.
Okay, I was this kid when I was 6. I wasn't this kid when I was 10. But when I was 6, I was this kid.
And then there's older sister, who is played by Dan Franklin, Susie Putterman, who's basically just like 80s MTV, the character. Rainbow-colored hair, eyeshadow.
Someone called her Cyndi Lauper meets Gem and the Holograms, and that is 100%.
Yeah.
They're all like 80s stock characters. Like they're all just like plucked out of an 80s like action figure of just like movie character set.
Intentionally though, like I feel like
yeah.
there's a definite John Waters like influence here that the characters are all
hyper
like hyper
exaggerated.
real to the point where it feels like you're almost watching 66 Batman in
Yeah.
some scenes.
Yes, I would agree. Especially OD.
Oh yeah, we'll get to OD.
I love that, man.
So like the setup for this is they're trying to Stanley is trying to get this like TV working. He has this really crazy looking universal remote that has like 2 dial pads on it. It has like a satellite dish spinning in the middle of it. It looks like something Wayne Selinsky would like have.
I was just about to say that, Zach, damn it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I want that. I want to know where that prop is, but it's pretty great. And so they're trying to go through these channels. At one point, they flip to something and they see the monster, and he's just kind of breathing through the screen. And like, what the hell is this? But they kind of ignore it, and they're just happy the TV is working.
I love in old movies when people are just like getting, shitty kind of reception on their small square TVs, and they're just like, oh my God, so cool. Like watching old free like samurai and monster movies, and they're just like, wow, latest technology.
I gotta say though, you have to give credit to the voice actor for the monster, because it's Frank Welker.
Oh, right.
who
I
is
did see
like
this.
Oh, yeah.
super famous, and he did one of Casey's favorite cartoon characters, Uni from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Oh, okay, so Uni is not my favorite character. Probably one of the least, but all of Fred Welker's cartoon roles could be sung by. He's more versatile than that, but that's like a sound they all make. So yeah, Slimer from the real Ghostbusters.
Tomato from Attack of the Killer Tomato cartoon.
Yep, the
He did that.
little cute fuzzy one that was your friend. Yeah. And I used to have a plush one, and I wish I still did because it's probably worth a shitload of money.
Oh yeah.
He's Abu from Aladdin as well,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he voiced one of the
Unmistakable.
aliens from the last Halloween special that we talked about in the Halloween special last year, which is a must-see if you have not seen that special. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kevin?
No, I think I might have. Maybe.
Really poorly, like, CG animated characters. He plays, I think, Scuba is the name of his character. It's great. Yeah.
It's not great.
No,
not
it's
great.
entertaining as hell.
I gotta talk to you guys about this movie a little bit because we've met our characters. We've talked about the swingers and the fuck dungeon house. Who was the audience for this movie outside of Kevin? Because if they made a movie for Kevin, the only thing that this is missing is Linnea Quigley, and this would be the perfect Kevin movie. If she played Medusa instead, it would be the perfect Kevin movie.
I don't know. I think this is like the perfect 12-year-old movie because it's like it's inappropriate enough to be funny. It's extremely hyper exaggerated. It's got stuff in it that 12-year-olds are gonna want in their kind of weird horror science fiction movies. And there's no like explicit gore to make it like too extreme. Like everyone apparently has, instead of blood, it just has green slime inside of them.
Yeah. I felt like they might have tried to do some gore for OD's death, and they just chickened out and cut it from the film because it looked like his head was about to do something.
Did you guys notice when he dies, it's a guitar?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did notice that this time.
I was looking at
It's
that.
like
and I
a
was
puddle is
"That's
shaped like a
awesome."
guitar on the ground.
That's pretty great.
This dude's into metal.
So they've set up this TV, and the parents basically all they're concerned with is like bringing people back to the Screw. They're kind of new to the swinging scene, which I think is hilarious because they set up their whole house to be this sex palace, and they're like only done it a couple times, but they have
Yeah.
like a giant like room-sized jacuzzi tub, which was amazing, by the way.
It's gonna turn out that was the orgy pit from Conan the Barbarian, just like re.
I want to see like a
wallpapered or
prequel to
something.
this, like as they're setting up this house and their kids are just like, "What are you doing? What is that picture? Why are you putting that up? What's going
You guys
on?"
realize you have children now.
I don't know. They watched Channel 69 for a really long time with the kids standing there.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're just like, watch it, children, watch it.
This is what me and your mom do in our spare time.
So Susie goes out with her boyfriend Odie while the parents are going out to meet some swingers. In the meantime, Grandpa and
you're
the
calling him Odie like he's the dog.
OD.
Yes, it's OD like overdose. It is not the dog. Played by our friend the Wolfman from the Monster Squad, and
Uncle Rico.
Yeah, Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, and the first guy you see in Men in Black.
he's
Very
wearing a Wasp shirt for this whole movie. And we get to see a Wasp music video when they are flipping around the channels, which I just have to point out because Wasp rules, and they're also in the Dungeon Master, which rules.
So I was curious about that. If this was like because they did the music video for Ghoulies 2.
Right.
I don't
right.
know if TerrorVision came before Ghoulies 2 or not. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure Dungeon Master did.
I think TerrorVision came before Ghoulies too. Let me double check. That.
Yeah, I think Dungeon Master was the first, but Wasp was in like a handful of movies.
Yeah.
They must have been friends with this director.
That's what I was wondering, or if they were like, "Hey,
TerrorVision
if
was a
you
year
do
before.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering if it had some correlation with them doing the actual music video. If they're like, "Hey, we'll feature a music video in this movie and like advertise you guys if you do a music video for us in the next."
Yeah, because Dungeon Master is a music video scene. Yeah. It's very much like Bad Channels.
Because there's two versions of Scream When You Like It. I know.
Yeah. Yeah,
so that's why I was wondering. There's one about his GT, and then there's the Ghoulies version, and you can only get the Ghoulies version live on iTunes.
The one that's about his GT was actually originally performed by the band Sabu, which is the Sabu, the Elephant Boy's son, the famous Indian actor, and that song is on the Trick or Treat soundtrack in the movie, but not on the actual soundtrack you can buy because that's just the Fastway songs. But that song plays in Trick or Treat when Ragman's meeting with Gene Simmons for the first time.
Oh, I need
it's
to
just
go
playing in the
back.
background on the radio station.
So one of the interesting nods with TerrorVision, we talked about Medusa briefly, but so they flipped to her channel. It's Medusa's Midnight Horror-thon, clearly nod to Elvira. And,
they should have just got Elvira. I'm kind of mad. Yeah.
It was entertaining enough. So, like, the little boy tries to call her to ask for help as this monster is kind of running rampant through the different TVs in the house, and she just kind of shines him on multiple times.
She's played by the lady that played every kind
Jennifer
of bimbo-ish
Richards.
character that John Larroquette hit on in Night Court, because she was on that show like 10 million times as 10 million different characters.
She was, I guess, a second choice. Like, I think the mom was supposed to play Medusa originally.
Oh,
The mom was in Eating Raoul, but was also in Chopping Mall, a superior movie in
Where
every
they just
way.
like Jennifer Richards has larger breasts, so we're just gonna put
they're
her in this
like
costume.
we might as well go full Elvira so that we could have Grandpa be a pervert.
Speaking of the mom, this is how like terrible parents these two are. So they bring back swingers. The kid is running to her like terrified a monster is come loose, and she is not listening to him. And she's just pissed that he's getting in the way of them screwing these two people. So she locks him into the basement with their grandpa so she can go
with the dead grandpa, dead grandpa that has already been eaten by a monster. So this kid, in a scene played for laughs, is locked in a room with his grandfather's corpse. This movie is amazing.
That's what I think is confusing about this movie, is that it's kind of like starts off on this tangent of like, okay, the monster is eating people, it eats his grandpa, it eats his mom and dad and the other swingers, and then they just kind of like stop the movie and are like, but he's kind of fun. I mean, maybe he could be our friend. I mean, the kids, I guess, don't know that they're just like, where's mom? Where's grandpa? I don't know. Oh, well. Or it's like the little kid just like forgot that his grandpa was probably murdered by this monster.
Because the monster can shapeshift
maybe we could be
as
friends.
well.
I don't know.
They decided to do a little bit of thing like shapeshifting, so the kid thinks his parents are alive when they're dead. He just thinks they're off fucking.
And everyone's goopy.
Yeah, the monster can reanimate corpses and speak as them, and it's interesting. But you brought up, Chris, kind of one of my favorite parts of this movie. So OD comes over to the house and befriends the monster because the monster recognizes his like gauntlet on his arm. So it turns out these beasts were actually pets where they come from, but they can mutate and turn bad. And when that happens, you have to get rid of them because they're dangerous. So he recognizes him as his master. And that brings up one of my favorite lines I've ever heard in any movie, where OD goes, "Hey, you guys remember that movie? You know, the one about the little space guy? Made you cry like a butthole?" That is the greatest line I have ever heard in my life. If you guys hear "made you cry like a butthole" like every episode from now on, I do not apologize. That is the greatest line that has ever been written.
We need to work that in more, definitely. Into
Made you
all of
cry
our
like a
discussions.
butthole.
Like a feature episode entitled "Cry Like a Butthole."
I want like a love song, "Made you cry like a butthole," you know?
Oh man, Stand
So
By
good.
Me makes me cry like a butthole every time.
So, and John Grease, man, he's basically Ted Theodore Logan here, and he's a really good Ted Theodore Logan, which is ironic since Diane Franklin ends up opposite the actual Ted Theodore Logan, like just shortly after this movie was made. It's pretty ironic, and
I gotta say though, he's got a ratchet ass wig, and Ted had real hair, and that kind of helps a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how old OD is, but he looks like 30-ish. Like, too old to be dating this teenage girl.
we'll get into old, like looking high schoolers.
He's
in
one
Bad
of those
Channels.
actors that's looked 30 his whole. Well, he's looked like 35 to 40 his whole life, and still does now. Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually looks better now than he did back then.
Yeah, he's kind of ripped now. It's like, dude, Why weren't you this ripped when you were the Wolfman?
He was in good shape when he was the Wolfman.
Nah, dude, I need my Wolfman to be like Brock Lesnar.
Dude, did you see him as the Wolfman? It's like the greatest Wolfman there is.
Dude, that wasn't even him in the Wolfman suit.
Stop it, Casey. You're ruining my childhood. I actually did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'm pulling it out of my ass, so I could be completely wrong. I basically just
no
made
idea.
that up.
See, now I have to look this up. You guys
Oh, okay. Zach muted himself because he's so angry about this.
He just stormed off the podcast.
He did.
Well, Kevin, what kind of impact do you feel like TerrorVision has had upon your life now?
Oh, it's I regret not having seen it earlier.
Me
I
too.
was just
I would have.
talking like with my girlfriend and saying like, man, you know, our kids are gonna see this like at 5.
Yeah. If I watched that movie when I was in like junior high or high school, it would be like my favorite movie right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I only gave it like 3 stars, but it's because it's not quite a Casey movie. It's more of a Kevin movie.
Yeah.
But I still love it. You know, like 2 stars is a normal movie. Anything above that, we're saying it kicks ass. You know,
It's definitely like one of the most influential movies, especially on me professionally, because everything I do, I try and like just the color palettes and just how over the top everything is. I'm just like, oh my god, this is everything I want in a film.
Yeah, it's still pretty funny. I think it's a great movie to throw on like really late at night when you just want to laugh.
Yeah.
Both at something.
talking about color palettes, like this is actually like really beautifully shot and has great cinematography to it as far as the lighting and color palettes of the film, which we're probably the only podcast that will ever mention that in regards to this movie. If you see another one, they stole it from us.
And to report back, Carl Thibault plays the Wolfman in Monster Squad, and I'm very
Champion
distraught.
right here.
He was actually probably, I think he might have been at that Monster Squad reunion we went to, Casey, a few years back at the Ace Hotel.
I know that the Gill Man was, but you know what? Zach edits the episode, and he's probably going to cut all of this being wrong out.
No, I will not edit
I
it
mean,
out.
it makes sense since, you know, they're pretty nice suits that they just have suit actors, you know, do it. I'm sure there's like guild rules for that stuff too.
I would love to be a suit actor for the Wolfman.
I know that would have been.
Okay, I say that, and then every time my friends make me play a monster in one of their things, I'm claustrophobic and feel terrible with whatever they put me in, and I have to have ultra slime all over me. I hate that shit.
I get to live out one of my fantasies of being a suit actor at Halloween Horror Nights when I got to be Michael Myers for one night.
No,
Awesome.
You were.
Yeah, I was so prideful that it's like it honestly like offended me when the like guy in charge like came to like give me some pointers on my like Michael Myers performance. I'm like, son of a, listen, I've been watching these movies since I was like 10, so I mean, just leave me the hell alone. I know what I'm doing.
This is my favorite part of working at Halloween Town and stuff was getting to play Leatherface all the time.
Oh, nice.
And they just let me like stalk around the store. I didn't have to talk to anyone. I just had to scare the kids.
Yeah,
I made that one kid poop their pants in the entryway. That's
like
still
legit.
a pride moment of mine.
Store fucking smelled terrible because it wasn't very well ventilated. But hey,
Chris, I gotta ask, what kind of feedback was he giving you? Was he like a little less H2O, a little more Halloween too? Like, was he?
It really was more like specifically, I was just supposed to pop out of the closet and then just pop right back in. And I wanted to add, I just got a little like, I was having too much fun. I like popped out of the closet and then I just lingered for a little bit too long. And what they were saying did make sense. It's like, hey, if you're out there for too long, they're going to like not be scared anymore because they're going to be like, oh, he's not going to do anything. So it's like, oh yeah, it makes sense. But still, I was just like,
I thought you were going to say that you got in trouble because you were doing the bump yourself before.
Oh yeah, I was definitely doing the music in my head for sure. I was definitely doing the heavy breathing when I was just by myself and no one else could hear me except for myself.
Somebody just walks in the room and they're like, I think someone's jerking off in this closet.
It was like Bryan Cranston at the end of Breaking Bad. I did it for me.
I guess before we end on TerrorVision, I just want to give a little more love to Garrett Graham and his Night at the Roxbury performance here, basically, is what he's doing. God, just every moment of this movie. I have never been this entertained I have not been entertained by a film like this much in a long time.
And I gotta say, solid head explosion in this movie, because I always mention it when it happens, and I think that there's a very solid one in this, and it's actually the funniest scene in the whole movie. Like, I die every fucking time.
Yeah, I love how the Medusa and plays into the things at the end of the film. Pretty great, really funny. I don't want to spoil anything if you guys haven't seen it, but watch this movie. My rating is 4 stars. Fantastic.
I went 3 because I think I need to see more people getting graphically murdered to enjoy a movie.
I think I also gave it 3 just for the production value. Sorry,
Kevin, are you a 5-star on this one, buddy?
I'm a 5. I'm a 5-star.
There you go.
Maybe if I'm comparing it to the next film, I'd go above and beyond and say 6, just for the fact that TerrorVision shows you how to properly do a space alien in like a little astronaut suit and make it look good. Because the next one, I'm not a big fan of the giant purple potato with a TV screen in it.
Maybe my least favorite character design ever.
So
I don't know where to start with this next one. So Kevin, the other, why don't you tell us about the other film that you presented to us today?
Please.
Bad Channels is a story of a shock jock DJ whose radio station gets taken over by an alien that likes to beam music videos into attractive women's heads and then shrink them down to fit them into little jars. And it is also the fitting piece to the Doll Man Demonic Toys cinematic universe. It sets up Doll Man versus Demonic Toys.
Which is so weird, and I never knew this as a kid, and I watched Doll Man versus Demonic Toys and just thought I missed a movie somewhere, and this is the movie that I missed.
Yep.
So this is really a missing piece for me.
Yeah.
So this came out in 1992. It was a direct-to-video release, unlike TerrorVision.
Well, by this point, all of Full Moon's pictures were direct-to-video releases, I think.
I love that Chris is like totally checked out.
Sorry. I'm not checked out. I'm less checked out now than I was during the movie, though.
I feel like this movie could have started a lot stronger, like with one of those music videos.
Yeah.
Because they just start with some fake mistletoe-looking shit and a guy getting scared, and I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
It definitely could have used some trimming throughout the movie.
I gotta say, though, the shock jock needed more time being a shock jock, because I think that he's the only likable male lead in a Full Moon picture. A Full Moon picture that we've talked about on this show to this point. He's like the only likable male lead we've had so far.
So yeah, Paul Hipp, he plays Dan O'Dare, the disc jockey. And he's known for pulling off really crazy publicity stunts. And at the start of this movie, he's chained himself to like his chair. And it's known as they play like rock music, but he's chained himself to a chair and he's playing polka music. He has been for like 20 hours straight. Yeah. And he's not going to change it until someone gives him the combo to take this lock off.
And before we talk about stunts, we need to talk about the stunt casting of having Martha Quinn be one of the main characters, because she's known as being one of the first MTV VJs, and she's also known as kind of being a butthole, I heard.
Oh, really?
I looked that up like after the fact, and I was like, I would not have guessed that from this person.
Yeah, she seems so nice. She
was like, yeah. Well, I wouldn't have guessed her of being a MTV DJ either. She seemed kind of like a stick in the mud a little bit.
She was actually like one of the more popular MTV VJs. Like, they even brought her back years later, and people lost their shit. Like, they were big fans of hers. Yeah, but
must be a good actress.
I heard that she has a Shannon Doherty-like reputation at sometimes. That's what some people said, but then I've heard people who have met her, and they're like, "No, dude, that's bullshit. She's cool as shit." So we all need to meet Martha Quinn and have her on the show, and then we can decide if she's cool or not. That's the only way this can really be resolved. And Kevin, you would be welcome on that show as well, that episode.
Thank you.
We can do 5 people at once, right, Zach?
On here, no, but I'll just go
we'll
away and
figure
you guys
it out.
can interview her.
I gotta say, I really like the premise of this movie, like just the idea of a shock rock DJ who is being invaded by aliens, and he's like broadcasting it over the waves, and no one believes him because it's consistent with his stunts and everything. It's pretty funny. I feel like it's not executed that well. And also, like, I think you, Kevin, earlier said that this movie is basically like a music video, like one of those extended music videos.
Yeah.
Where there's a plot at the beginning and end, and there's definitely like some just music video sequences in this that I definitely was checking out during.
See, okay, I was cool with the music video sequences until the one that made me really mad.
Which was the best one that made you mad, by the way?
It was the best one, but that band, what are they called? Like Sadistic Symphony or something?
They are called Psychotic Symphony, Sykotik Symphony, Sinfony. They're an experimental punk comedy heavy metal group from the early 90s.
Yeah, they are a complete ripoff of Mr. Bungle down to the fucking sound of the music and the attire they wear. Mr. Bungle even had a nun.
Do they have a cow with udders and a clown wig?
They had clowns. I'm not sure about I don't think they had a clown. But since Mike Patton of Faith No More is in Mr. Bungle, they are automatically one of the greatest bands that ever existed, because Mike Patton is the shit and a god of music. That bothered me a little bit. The other bands were kind of cool. There was like this band that was singing about jerking off that was pretty good.
Their Nirvana ripoff with Cotton Eye Joe playing the guitar.
Yeah. They were trying to look like a Guess Jeans commercial or something, but the guy playing the guitar kind of had a Hillbilly Jim kind of look because he was wearing overalls with no shirt and no shoes. Kind of an interesting choice there. They were actually trying to dress like the Cult in their music videos, I think, is what it kind of looked like.
Well, Blue Oyster Cult did the soundtrack for this movie.
The Cult and Blue Oyster Cult are two different things. The Cult is one of the best bands ever. The Blue Oyster Cult, they did the Godzilla song, so they're also one of the best bands ever. I don't know what I'm even trying to say.
They did a song about Nosferatu that no one talks about, and it's one of the raddest songs ever.
I wish I had heard it as a kid because I used to think it was pronounced Nosfartu.
You know, there no cowbell in this movie, guys. There was a cow, but no cowbell.
There was... Okay, so the really weird band nerd, did anyone else think he looked like Crispin Glover's twin from Willard?
Yeah. I was also just confused that, like, how long has this band been in this gym? Like, we go from night to the next day, and it's like, were they fucking in that gym, like, all night? What the hell?
Yeah, so we were talking about, that is, like, the oldest looking group of high schoolers I think I've ever seen in a movie. They must have been 35. I
gotta say, though, like, the music in this movie is good. It would have been better if Wasp was one of the bands. I was kind of mad that they weren't.
They should have been the band at the diner, at the truck stop diner.
Especially since that wasn't even like a real band. That was like a guy with backup dancers. And
it's a good song.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think one of those girls was in the band because she was really playing the guitar. Like, she was actually doing the real chords and stuff. So, but I don't think all of them were.
It's just weird. It feels like that you know, these sequences should have been prepared for like some sort of real band that had a tie-in, like Rock and Roll High School, like something like that.
Yeah.
So to know that it's like, no, it's not even a real band. And Blue Oyster Cult did the music. It's like, wait, what? I'm so confused.
These were a lot of local Southern California bands, but none of them are ones that really made it big. Like the Mr. Bungle ripoffs are from Ventura. I saw that on their Wikipedia page. We do our research on this podcast.
It's like if you did Rock and Roll High School and the Ramones did the music for Rock and Roll High School, but then the band that shows up in the movie is not the Ramones. It's like a fake band. It's like, why?
Oh, it's like the Smithereens or something.
Yeah, so for those that haven't seen this movie, the bulk of this movie is Dan O'Dare like cowering in a room while the alien is taken over like the main studio and is using the equipment is covered in fungus and he's using it to basically capture these women by beaming. He's using these signals from the station and Dan O'Dare's broadcast to find women that are listening to it and steal like these specimens into these little small like jars that are off to the side. And basically he like projects like a music video as a song is playing. So anyone listening to the station, seeing these women, they just see them dancing and they hear the music. But the women that are being taken see like a music video playing out in front of them. And Dan O'Dare is just like broadcasting this and like doing play-by-play basically.
So
Kevin,
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin's the expert of this movie. Explain why the girls need to be little.
Because Charles Band has a thing for tiny things.
He kind of.
I mean, there's Bad Channels, Doll Man, Demonic Toys, Puppet Master, Blood Dolls.
Can we count Evil Bong? He's kind of small.
Yeah, The Creeps.
Ginger Dead Man.
Ginger Dead Man.
Oh, The Creeps. Yeah.
I can just imagine pitching a story to him and he's like, but what if they were small? And they're like, but it's a romantic comedy. Why?
Yeah.
Like why would they need to be shrunken?
That's like his big note is he's like, what if we made them tiny?
He must love Tiptoes so much.
It's a love story during the Inquisition. Why do they have to be like 3 foot tall? I don't.
A subspecies had little tiny things in it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait, why do you have those
they
Barbie
did.
dolls hidden behind your back?
Those little blood homunculus thingies. Yeah.
It's always tiny stuff.
See, and I just thought he wanted to make toys of everything, but
He should have made the Ant-Man movie.
he should
That
have.
would have been interesting. You know, Bad Channels, it felt kind of like Full Moon's UHF, and I kind of just wish they went into that a little bit more because it just takes such a strange turn, but like I really like the Dan O'Dare character, and I kind of wish they just played it up more as a straight comedy and didn't. I don't know. It's just like I like the music video stuff, but it was just so all over the place.
This week we saw Full Moon's version of Stay Tuned, and we saw Full Moon's version of UHF, kind of.
Yeah, and the alien's kind of a dick. He just like comes in and starts like fucking around in the studio and doesn't even acknowledge the DJ at all, hardly.
Beats
Just,
the hell out of his
always
robot.
got his back to him.
Yeah.
He's a dick to his coworker.
I do gotta say, I love the silhouette shot of the alien the first time you see him in the distance, and he just like poses like a rock star.
Yeah, but then you see him in person, and he's got this giant rock for a head. And when I say giant, I mean giant. I mean, like, this actor should have probably sued for neck problems after the time this film was done. And there were, like, TV screens and shit inside his head.
To be fair, it turns out to be just a helmet, Casey.
Yeah.
It does, but I wish they would have taken the helmet off, like, 10 minutes into the movie. He's maneuvering through a crowded recording studio, hanging mics and shit all over the place with this giant fucking helmet on. Come on.
And his true form is basically like a piranha plant from like Super Mario Brothers.
It has robotic legs too.
Yeah.
Like that's the best part. It's a
I felt bad for his little robot friend that he just like totally beat the shit out of.
Yeah, that robot was adorable.
Yeah.
It actually looked like they might have repurposed like one of those Tomy robots that you could buy for your house that would carry the little tray of drinks to your room.
I have to say,
I always wanted one.
Though, Zach, you talking about when they first introduced the alien in that big silhouette shot. When I first saw this movie, I had seen Rawhead Rex before it, and I immediately was like, "Oh no!" Like this is boding. It's not good. If it's giving me Rawhead Rex vibes right now.
Yeah.
We need to have Kevin back on to talk about Rawhead Rex is what I'm thinking for sure.
I am a big Clive Barker
Not that
fan.
it's good. Yeah, I mean, I like Clive Barker, but that movie was fucking bullshit.
They're doing the Books of Blood now, and Rawhead Rex was one of those, I think, originally. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're going to do that series. I think people have issues.
It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
It's just a roundabout way of remaking Hellraiser, really. I think that's all they're going to do.
Yeah.
I don't think they're even going to touch any of the other ones, but...
Do you guys do you guys want to get into final thoughts on Bad Channels? I don't know what should we. There's this movie is so strange. Like I just didn't know what I had watched after I finished it.
I was down for that. That made me like it more. I would say a solid 2 stars.
Yeah.
Like if it didn't have music videos I liked, it would have been 1.5. But it had music videos that I liked.
Then maybe I go 1.5 then, Casey, because I wasn't that into the music. I had it on in the middle of the afternoon, and it kind of felt like, when like there's like a TV movie on that you're not really paying attention to in the middle of the afternoon.
No,
it
dude,
felt like my experience.
I watched this shit like an hour before we recorded, so I could have it fresh.
I gave it a 2.5 stars. There are performances I liked enough. When I go to 2 stars, it's a movie that I really don't like, but it's competently made. I like this enough that I'll go 2.5.
I give it a solid 3 stars.
There we go.
With the suggestion that this movie is a group movie to watch. Like it's better when you're sitting there with people and you can laugh at a lot of the stuff and things like that. If you're just watching it by yourself, it's probably like 2.5 and things. But yeah, the music video.
So what you're saying is we need to do a commentary episode. Commentary episode of Bad Channels coming up next week.
Oh dear Lord. You can't wiggle free, Casey. You're not getting free of this.
I'm sorry, the audience has spoken. Halloween H2O is now on the back burner.
Now, Kevin, you definitely made up for the creeps. These both were much better.
Yeah,
TerrorVision
yeah.
is one of my new favorite. TerrorVision is one I had been wanting to get to for such a long time, and I'm glad I finally had an excuse to get to it. So much fun. Gets my made me cry like a butthole stamp of approval. And thank you for bringing these to us, man. Really, so much fun.
You're welcome. Glad you guys enjoyed them. Or enjoyed TerrorVision at least.
Yes.
It was, you know what? They were both enjoyable. I had fun. I can have fun watching a bad movie. And I did, laughing every time I saw that big fucking planetoid head. Big, huge planetoid head.
I was going to say, back on TerrorVision real quick, and Bad Channels, there's 2 little things I noticed. In the credits for Bad Channels, they have a little thing that says a special appearance by Dollman himself in there.
It wasn't in the movie.
Bad Channels?
Yeah. I do not know where he was.
You didn't see the teaser at the end of the credits for Bad Channels?
No.
Very
not
end of
on
the
YouTube.
credits.
I didn't go that far.
Yeah, I've never gone that far with it.
Full moon ahead of Marvel on the curve there. Yeah, at the very end of the credits, there's a teaser or you see Dollman walking down the alley and there's like a narration. It doesn't fit the tone of Bad Channels at all. It's so weird, but it's there.
But I mean, we could do a series of podcasts on the FMCU.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm sure
thing.
Chris would love that.
Hey, by the time he gets to evil,
vigorously.
by the time he gets to Evil Bong versus Ginger Dead Man, it's gonna be, which actually happened, I think.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, because then they made the Ginger Weed Man out of it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, transitioning away from Full Moon a bit, let's have a little extra discussion before we close things out. So that between the last episode and this one, Trick or Treating in Los Angeles was canceled and then sort of uncanceled, kind of.
Oh yeah, that was
that what the
weird.
riots in the street were about?
Yeah, that was what it was about. Trick or Treating.
Dear God.
Yeah, it's weird. Basically everything we like to do on Halloween is still canceled anyway,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like whatever, but
Hey, my favorite thing to do on Halloween is to watch a shitload of TV and eat a bunch of candy, and that's no one can take that away from me.
Nope.
No,
That's what'll be happening.
At least we got a Joe Bob special, like the 26th, I want to say.
yes,
Yeah.
on Shudder. So if you miss it, you're a piece of shit.
Also, something I wanted to mention and tell you guys about that I don't know how I didn't know this, but Mad Monster Party has a prequel.
Oh, does it?
And it's on Prime right now for
really?
free. It's called Mad Monsters. And it's
Okay.
about Fang's wedding to the bride, who is not Phyllis Diller in this one.
Oh,
But it's 2 cartoons. It's that and The Legend of Jack O'Lantern, which is about a very disgruntled leprechaun who lives in a jack-o'-lantern.
Is that Rankin Bass?
It is Rankin Bass.
Okay.
But animated traditional.
Yeah, it's
like,
both are
drawing
2D animation stuff. But
Interesting.
the prequel is bizarre. Like it's the weirdest cartoon. But you guys got to check it out.
Definitely check it out. Speaking of,
I like the original. I didn't like having to watch it 47 times in a row when we worked at the
did you guys see the trailer that just came out recently for the new Scooby-Doo direct-to-video film, Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo, starring Elvira and Bill Nye?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And
You have not seen this?
it's part of the Batman
Whoa.
universe too. Scarecrow's a villain in it.
Yes.
Oh my
It's
God.
so weird.
It brings everything together. Scooby-Doo, Elvira, Bill Nye, all take place in the Batman universe now.
Yeah, the animation looks pretty great too.
Do they have Robert Englund doing the voice for the Scarecrow, though? That's what I'm wondering.
I'm not sure.
know.
I think he would have been advertised. I do think it's funny to see Elvira in a kid's cartoon, and they clearly had to kind of hide her assets, if you know what I mean.
You know,
I did
it's
see.
cool. It's cool because we all saw Elvira when we were kids, and we're all completely normal.
Sure.
I did see the trailer for the Adam Sandler Halloween film that's going to be
That
hitting
looks
Netflix.
incredible.
It actually does, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to
He's
see an Adam
basically
Sandler
doing
movie.
Bobby Boucher.
Oh my God.
I'm just so glad he brought that back. I know Adam Sandler gets a lot of hate, but I love 90s Adam Sandler.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Billy Madison's one of my greatest guilty
Yeah,
pleasures.
Billy Madison.
Pretty much everyone with this trailer is linking something that he said before the Oscars, which was the movie he made with the Safdie brothers didn't do well, then he was gonna make the worst movie of all time. People were pretty much like, it's here.
It already looks way better than half the things he's done in the last
Uncut
5
Gems is Uncut Gems is the movie you're thinking of.
Yes, Uncut Gems. Yeah.
So I'm. What is the name of the Adam Sandler movie? Does anyone know?
I don't
Hubie
know, but
Halloween
you
or
edit the
something,
podcast.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It should just be called the Adam Sandler Halloween Netflix movie, because that's what everyone will call it. So that's literally what it should have just been the title, was the Adam Sandler Halloween Netflix movie.
I think we have to cover that on the podcast this year.
Oh,
We're
God.
going. Yeah, we have to. I also want to take you guys to task. So who watched Holliston now, or at least some of it?
I haven't gotten
I
to
have
it
not
yet,
yet.
but I was maybe going to.
I
today.
haven't watched it yet. I've been busy.
Oh man, it sucks because Adam Green said he was going to do the podcast. If you guys all said you watch it right now, now he's not going to do it.
Isn't
Oh,
Dee Snider
shit.
in Holliston?
Oh, he's very much in Holliston. Yes.
Have you seen Digging Up the Morrow yet, Casey?
No, I don't watch that.
Another trailer that dropped that looked really interesting from Blumhouse is Freaky, starring Vince Vaughn, pretty much Vince Vaughn in the hot chick role.
Oh, no.
You haven't seen this trailer, Casey? Or Chris?
No, I have.
No.
Oh, dude, it looks great. It's like a
yeah.
horror movie version of the hot chick.
It's
In a good
it's,
Yeah.
Or Freaky Friday, which came first and is literally referenced in the title.
Yeah.
But yeah, giant crazy killer guy, Vince Vaughn, finally playing a giant killer guy when he's a giant in real life.
he swaps bodies with a blonde teenage girl, so she's like a serial
His
killer.
final
throughout the
girl
movie.
victim and him switch bodies.
It's pretty. It's
Weird.
it's by the people that did Happy Death Day, and it looks very similar in tone.
Oh, okay.
so-
Now you got my
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
It actually looks super funny, and Vince Vaughn avoided playing a slasher villain his whole career.
Wait,
And now
no, he didn't.
Now he can do it.
Wasn't he in the Psycho remake?
That we don't talk about that, Kevin.
Casey's eyes have just glazed over.
I think Christopher Landon is the director of Freaky, if I'm correct.
I don't need to think about Vince Vaughn jerking it in the scenes that they added to that movie.
No, but he looks great in this, so I'm excited to see that. When does that come out? Freaky.
Oh, tomorrow.
Oh, November 13th. Lame. Okay.
Oh,
can't
the
wait to
day
see
after, the day after a little something that I'm getting.
Well, that'll give us something to talk about in November.
Oh no, dog.
It's kind of like the slow month.
First of all, we're gonna go into a little video game news here because I got a PlayStation 5. Woo! I got one pre-ordered, and they did during the Sony showcase the day before, they did show a great trailer for a horror game that I would like all of our listeners to check out. Is the new Resident Evil 8 Village. It looks awesome. Graphics look amazing. It looks like it's going to be doing that first-person view that the latest one, Biohazard, did, which made the game scary as fuck.
I still gotta play that. I have not played
dude,
Biohazard.
it's... You know what? I have to buy it because I've only played the demo, and I think it's like $20 now. So, I don't know, though. It might be coming free in that big... There's a big PlayStation 5. If you buy it, you get like 20 different PlayStation 4 hits for free.
Oh, wow.
And that might be one of them. So if it is, I won't buy it, and I'll just wait. But yeah, the Resident Evil game looks great. I will keep updating on upcoming horror games. I don't think Demon Souls counts as one. So
There was a really cool indie game that I just stumbled upon. That's kind of like a bit like Castlevania. But you're like a lord coming back from the Crusades, and like these Splatterhouse kind of monsters have like
you're thinking of
invaded.
Blasphemous.
It's not
right?
Blasphemous.
Oh.
It's let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Shit, man.
Because it looks pretty rad. Like you fight little floating eyeballs and things like that, and
dude, I'm always down for floating eyeballs. How are floating... Okay, this is a question for the audience, too. How are floating eyeballs always bad guys in video games when we never see floating eyeballs as bad guys in horror movies that much?
I mean, because Big Trouble in Little China did it so well that you just can't top that, you know?
Yeah, but Big Trouble in Little China literally stole the Beholder from Dungeons & Dragons and put it in the movie.
It's hard to pull off, I guess.
I'm trying to think of that one movie with the giant eye that was on the like cord. Infernax is the thing. Yeah, let me.
You know, I was on Disney Plus recently, and I feel like they got rid of their Halloween section because I can't find it. Like, they're supposed to have like a little Halloween playlist. It's not there.
You have to do it from the PC for it to work, I think. Like, if you're using it from any...
Like a Mac, you mean? I can't do it on a Mac?
No, I mean, like, you can't... You have to use a desktop to do it, though.
I was on a
use it
desktop.
on, like, a TV. Then maybe it's the other fucking way around. I don't know.
Maybe they got rid of it for a little while so that they can like bring it back at the beginning of October.
Or they realized they fucked up and didn't put Bride of Boogity on it.
I thought
so
they
like,
had
let's just throw it
Bride
all in
of
the trash.
Boogity put on there now.
They do, but they don't have it on that list.
I've yet
I do want to give a shout out.
either of those.
I want to give a shout out because I don't know if we'll ever actually have a full discussion on this because Casey's a bitch. But I want to give
Under
a shout out.
Wraps is fucking garbage.
I wasn't
going to
say Under Wraps. I wanted to give a shout out to some of the late '90s, early 2000s Halloween Disney Channel original movies because they're pretty great.
Okay, first of all, Boogity is superior, and Bride of Boogity is superior, and those are more like late 80s.
Yeah,
early
I wasn't
90s.
talking about those. I was talking about the ones I grew up with.
I was gonna say, the ones that Casey grew up with. Imagine.
Oh, they were pretty.
I apologize for cursing you out, Casey, but I watched Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire the other day. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you know what? If John Saxon's not in it, I don't give a shit. It's a reference. That's a reference to My Mom's a
Shaughnessy
Werewolf.
is a fun vampire. Wolfsbane. It's actually a fun movie.
No, the best ones are the Halloween Town series by far.
The first two are really good. I like Phantom of the Megaplex.
There's like
Made me want to work in a movie theater.
Yeah, there's a you did for a while, right?
No, I think Chris did.
No?
Oh yeah, I did. It was nothing like Phantom of the Megaplex. Sadly.
No, I didn't think so.
I was hoping it would be like Popcorn. Personally,
that is a movie I want to see so bad, but I haven't seen it yet.
I actually haven't gone to it yet either. I
keep forgetting about it. It's one of those movies.
After Halloween season, we need to do a popcorn episode.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Let's wind things down here. So, Kevin, where can they find you on social media, man? Let's see some of your amazing work.
Yeah, let me check because I'm terrible with my my names.
You have a website as well.
I do have a website.
Be sure to plug that Twitch too, bro.
Oh yeah. You can find me usually if you look up KG Cannarile. That's usually
Maybe
has all
spell
my
that
stuff.
for people.
Yeah. So it's KGCANNARILE. And my website is that@.org. Not because I'm an organization, but because I'm from Oregon initially. So that was my
Nice.
little...
Nice, I like it.
Well, everyone still gives me shit about it because they're like, it's for organizations, Kevin. I'm like, yeah.
First of all, Kevin Cannarile will never fit on a marquee. We're gonna start calling you Kevin de Beaumarchais, and you got to see Kevin's Twitch streams. He's not playing video games. He's fucking drawing, and it's awesome. And he might even draw you. He might even
his
draw
artwork
you.
is astoundingly good, guys. You really need to check out his stuff.
If you're particularly ugly and you're in the chat, he might draw you. If you're particularly beautiful, but if you're somewhere in the middle, he's probably not going to be interested.
I do a lot of fan art for sorority babes and the Slimeball Bolorama on my streams for some reason.
Yeah.
That's where I go to just like get that and like my Frankenhooker art out.
Yeah, so it's adults only fan art, crossed with My Little Pony, and yeah, if you ever wanted to see the brony version of Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama, I'm making this up. Do not expect that and go to that.
I am going to get like the worst fandom crossover showing up on my pages now, and I will not know how to handle it.
Just be like, look, if you ever wanted to meet with other fans of Steven Universe and My Little Pony, go to Kevin's. I'm trying to think of more toxic fandoms.
All right, Chris, where can they find you on social media, man?
Oh, you can follow me on the Twitter at Chris Pistol, Chris with a K, and Pistol with an E, and Letterboxd with the same name.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a great follow on Letterboxd. He watches everything, guys.
I've seen everything.
He hit his TerrorVision review score so that you wouldn't be spoiled on this episode.
I just haven't logged it yet. I'm like, whenever my girlfriend's here, I'm always behind in my loggings.
Because I'm like, oh man, he didn't put a score down. That's so smart.
Casey, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Lucha Gringo. That's LuchaGringo. You can also find me on PSN there. So friend me if you're one of the few people that got a PS5 because your homie's got one too. And maybe, just maybe, I'll kick your ass at some games.
I have a Nintendo 64 that I've been playing recently. I dug out, or I just found GoldenEye and Mario Kart.
We got to get you WCW.
Nice.
WCW versus NWO Revenge. I lost an entire year of my life to that game, and I didn't even own it.
Yeah.
So that's how great that 4-player action on the Nintendo 64 was. Like,
dude, GoldenEye, man, I lost so many hours into that game.
See, you know what? The guy who had GoldenEye was a fucking asshole and kept picking Oddjob, which is cheating.
Yeah, if you're Oddjob, lame.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can follow us on twitter.com and on YouTube under Another Miserable Podcast. You can follow me on my personal account as well at Earth2Zach, so Earth2Zach, as well as Instagram, same thing. Please follow us there. We really on Another Miserable Podcast or at MPOS Official. It really does help us out. We're trying to grow that. And please subscribe. If you feel so inclined, leave us a nice review on Apple. It'd really help us out.
Oh, and honestly, like that really helps us out. If you're listening with Apple Podcasts or whatever kind of podcasts that you are, service that you're using, if it's got some kind of rate function, please leave us a review so that we can get sponsors and get free movies. I'm tired of like spending money to watch shit. Also, like we could, you know, get other kinds of sponsorships like free food. Like what if like people started sending us free Halloween candy, you guys? That's why we need reviews.
Please
That's
send
why we
us
need reviews.
Free Slimer Ghostbusters drink.
Yes. Or if you find that awesome looking Slimer candy dish bowl at Ralph's and aren't like trying to upsell it for like $70 on eBay.
Oh
yeah,
God.
Give us that too.
Yeah. I can't find it. I've looked. I've been trying to actively find that for Zach. Yes.
Have you seen the ads for that new Loot Crate thing that's out? That's just Halloween candy from Japan.
I have, and I'm a bit concerned about it making it through shipping because I recently got one from Korea and everything had melted.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Melt crate.
Unfortunately. I do gotta say that by the end of this year, I will be subscribing to Loot Fright, and we will be doing unboxings on our YouTube channel when I do that.
Oh, sweet. All right, guys. So next week, we are going to be doing our Halloween H2O commentary that will be coming out before the month is over. So maybe it won't come out next week, but the week after. But before the month is over, we will have.
Yeah,
that for
Kevin, congrats! You have my spot on this podcast for that episode.
Casey, you're such a sore loser, man.
Hey, you know what? We're still gonna do Trick or Treat. Can we say that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Next month we're going to do a commentary for Trick or Treat. We're going to have a Halloween special, and I want to give a plug again to the one we did last year because I really enjoyed it. We were even joined by Boris Karloff and Vincent Price, who maybe they'll come back this year. I don't know, Chris. Are they quarantining? Boris and Vincent?
They're actually quarantining with me right now. It's been really fun.
Yes,
You know, they fight over the remote. It's adorable.
I really want to hear what they think about Halloween H2O also. Especially about when LL Cool J comes back to life.
What the fuck is this shit? You can see Michael Myers' eyes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
It was awesome having you. Please follow Kevin on his social media. Really, you won't regret it. And we'll definitely have you back, man. Whenever we do a Ghoulies 2 commentary, you'll be back for that. And any other, we'll have you back no matter what. So
honestly, if Kevin's not busy, I'd like to personally invite him for the Trick or Treat episode because I know he loves the movie.
Sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, take it easy, guys. Please stay safe. Please continue to wear your masks, and we'll see you next time.